Thank you for listening today on Revealing Wholeness, sponsored by Infinity Whole Health. Check out our website at infinityWholeHealth.com, where we are revealing the eternal in each individual, the infinite in the individual. The creativity is made manifest. Limitation is let go. Now, here's your host, Dr. Troy Munson.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness. We've been doing this whole month of June, men's health, and we're now is on what do we as men start experiencing from 20s to 40s? What should we be looking out for? What are the pitfalls, so to speak? And so at this point, we're going to start out with, most men are athletes. We do a lot of sports, women too, but men tend to do it a bunch. And so because we get pretty intense and we don't like to take care of ourselves a whole lot, I can remember being in college at 22, and I would go to, please don't judge me on this, but I would go to Taco Bell and I would get burritos. I loved burritos. And so, I was in college, poor starving college student, 49-cent burrito, what a deal. And I'd eat 2 or 3 of them. And of course, you have white flour on the soft shell burrito, and you have the beans and a little bit of cheese inside, and that was it. It's crazy. You put a little salsa on it or a hot sauce that they give you in the packet that I'm sure is filled with garbage. And that's what we would eat. And of course, to process all those carbs, it just rips nutrients from the human body and just depletes you. And I wonder now, I obviously know why I was pulling quad muscles and shoulders going bad at age 29. It just ridiculous. So I want to go through athletics. So if you're out there being an athlete and you stumbled onto this podcast, the biggest bane of the athlete is high natural vitamin C and vitamin E and trace minerals. So let me explain if you've not stumbled onto one of my podcasts before. Vitamin C is not ascorbic acid. By law, the amount of ascorbic acid in a food is the amount of vitamin C they consider in a product. But the drug company said, well, heck, we can make ascorbic acid in a lab by taking high fructose corn syrup and adding hydrochloric acid to it, and we get ascorbic acid. And so that's what they literally do in a lab, and then they sell it to the unknowing public, you and I, and they call it vitamin C. And it's a preservative, and that's it. Made from genetically modified corn. It's ridiculous. So if you're taking vitamin C by the thousands of milligrams, please stop. It is not what you think it is. You absolutely have to get it from food to get the more than 500 phytonutrients that make vitamin C actually what it is. Vitamin E, if you go over the counter, you're going to find 400 international units of vitamin E, and it's going to say on the back, mixed tocopherols. Yet again, a preservative made in a lab, and it's not the real thing. So there's over 1,000 phytonutrients that make vitamin E actually what it is. The 2 most important things in vitamin C and vitamin E is the mineral carrier. Vitamin C is copper. It's organic copper. And vitamin E is selenium. And selenium is an amazing little component for your body. And they say that I've read research that says if you give any cancer patient, no matter what the cancer is, you give them selenium, usable selenium, it's like 29 to 32% of their cancers will go away. That's impressive right there. And so vitamin C, the whole thing, vitamin E, the whole thing, and trace minerals. Where do we get trace minerals? From food. You can't go out and eat dirt off the ground. You're going to get maximum, if you have awesome digestion, about 8% of those minerals out of dirt. So it takes having food, and good food grown in good soil. Not the soil that we feed the rest of the world in, by the way. And so if you have questions, concerns on that, please shoot me an email. I'll explain how to get those things. The next thing that we hit in this so-called 20s is I love everybody saying, oh, you're over the hill now at age 26. Like 25 is this magical over the hill. No, it's a plateau. And that plateau starts at about 25. So we hit our peak. Yes, at about 25, but that plateau lasts for about 40 years, or rather it should. And so you should feel as fantastic at 65 as you do at 25. How many people do that? Not many. And it's partly because they're just destroying their bodies with garbage food. We have to have real replacement parts in our body. We can't have synthetic crap that we eat in a pill. We have to have foods. And so it's why one of the reasons I use whole food supplements in the office, because I get it. I've taken thousands upon thousands of milligrams of vitamin C until I realized it was garbage. And boy, I tell you, you want to talk about an angry day. I was rather upset that I didn't realize that many years previously. And when I started doing real vitamin C, I watched things change quite beautifully, and aches and pains go away, and my body heal in much more amazing ways. Hey, I tell clients frequently, I feel better today in my 50s than I did at 27. And so I know it can happen because I watched it happen in me. So next is in our 20s, we start to actually get a job, most of us. And that job usually comes with a whole lot of stress. And some of us are getting married in our 20s, and we're realizing that relationships come with a whole lot of stress. And so that stress, again, depletes our body in other ways. And weirdly enough, it depletes us of vitamin C. Isn't that crazy? Our adrenal glands use 120 times more vitamin C or copper than any other tissue in the human body. And our adrenal glands are what are responsible for handling the stress that hits us mentally and physically. And so we need those operating at 100%. And so yet again, it's a call to have a diet that is excellent. And so this is also where people start recognizing that, you know what? I'm standing out in my company because of my performance. And I really take pride in my job. And I'm now starting to actually set some goals. Maybe I want to get married. Maybe you're in your mid-20s or early 20s or late 20s. You're like, yeah, I think I would like to actually get married. I think I would like to actually have a family. I'd like to have a career. And you're starting to think about, maybe I need a goal set. These are things that are common in our 20s that we begin to do, and it shouldn't stop. I mean, we should be setting goals on up to really the day we die. Let's not take the foot off the pedal at any time in life. Let's live life to the full all the time. And I think goal setting is not a bad thing to do. And so that's part of the stress that we gain, and we start realizing, you know what, I need to develop myself. And so some of this, I hope, starts happening in this 20s, 30s. I remember I really had a come to Jesus meeting at age 29, 30. And where I felt like my life really kind of fell apart, but it was a huge turning point for me. And if people would have seen my life back then, they said, man, your life is really crappy. And I'd agreed with them. But now I look back and say, it was so amazing and wonderful. I can look back and say that because it makes me who I am today, to sit here and have a conversation with you and have some content to my brain instead of just a shallow person like I was in my 20s. So maybe you kind of recognize you're perhaps a little bit shallow. It's time for some personal development. It's time to start digging down to your roots inside your head, in your spiritual aspect, in your daily life, and what are you going to contribute? What are you going to do? And so those are things that start hopefully in our 20s and 30s and really carry on. Now, as we gain these footings into our 30s, oftentimes that's where guys start gaining weight. Now, I've seen guys do it in college, but we'll start gaining weight. We'll start sleeping not very well. Our energy will be low. Sometimes even our sex drive is already going. And these are all evidence of a body not well taken care of. And so it's time to have a wake-up call, and it's time to start doing some things that will develop us, not simply, go after drugs, aspirin, what have you, to try to heal these aches and pains when that stuff doesn't work. So what do we do now becomes the question as we start aging. Well, this plateau, if we feel like that plateau wasn't a plateau and I really peaked at 25 and now I'm just going downhill. Well, you can pull back and start going back up that hill to that plateau and feel great for a many, many number of years. And it takes a little bit of work. I remember by the time I was in my early 40s, I was thinking, why am I so tired? This is just not right. And when I really began to take a look at myself and begin to rebuild my body, now 10 years later, I feel pretty dang good most of the time. I remember the first time that I finally slept through the night again. I woke up in the morning, I thought, whoa, it's morning. Wait a minute, I just went to sleep. No, I didn't. That was 8 hours ago. And I remember thinking how good I felt in the morning and rested. Every morning you should feel rested. If you are not rested in the morning, it means that you have not completed healing from yesterday. And you take that now into today. And so that's just being always behind the 8 ball and now just feeling worse and worse and worse. So if you're a woman listening to this because you want to know about men's health and maybe some of this is speaking to you, same thing with you ladies. It goes about how much high octane food can you put in your body, how much good chiropractic care can you get so that your brain communicates with your cells correctly and you heal at an optimal rate all the time, and that you heal from disease before they begin by having good nutrition and a well-functioning nervous system. It's really quite elegantly simple to take care of the human body, but few of us really do that. So if you're looking to take your game to the next level and have your mind clear, your body clear, your spirit clear, I hope this is a wake-up call for you and you're like, you know what, I think I need some of that. If you want more guidance, if you want a little bit more careful one-on-one type of stuff, please let me know. I do that stuff every day with my clients because they come to me with their health conditions, but I know their entire body and being and spirit comes with them too. You're not a body, you're all of it. And so at this point, I hope that hits home and really sinks in, because I would have wished somebody would have sat me down and had this conversation with me when I was in my 20s, maybe even in my teens. So I hope that resonates with you. I hope it's awesome. I hope you take something out of this and have an amazing life. If you do, shoot me a message. I'd love to hear that too. But until next time, I'm Dr. Troy Munson on Revealing Wholeness.
Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach Dr. Munson at 360-893-8586 or email him at chiroman@dr.com. That's chiroman@dr.com. Check out our current workshop schedule on Facebook at Infinity Whole Health.
The information on this podcast from Dr. Troy Munson is meant to educate the listener on a variety of health issues. It is not meant to diagnose or treat any conditions.